Yay.
Hey.
Hey.
Okay, so I'm Rachel with I'm Raquel Life and Spiritual Coaching, and I have with me today Lee and Sherry Patterson. So I have to tell you guys first of all that I'm so fangirling out right now over being here with these folks. No, like so serious. I followed every single second of your guys' journey. When I woke up to my journey, when I was in the beginning times and it was so hard and I felt like I was absolutely insane, you guys like saved my life. Like I depended on your content to keep me okay. You know what I mean? And it really is like a big moment for me now to be here with you guys and have you here on my show and get to talk to you personally.
Oh.
And yeah, I had to call my friend before this. I was like, I'm so nervous. What do I say to them? No.
That's so sweet. Thank you for listening.
So,
Gosh.
it's so special.
We haven't watched any of our stuff on purpose.
Yeah, we don't watch any of our stuff.
Per your book.
I get that. I took that from
I would self-judge myself off the internet. I would self-judge myself right off the internet. Every video would come down. Oh, no, I can't watch those.
Yeah, I had to do it that way when I started. I was like, just close your eyes. Click. Upload it. Okay.
So how did you find us, actually? That's a good question.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So, well, I found twin flame content to begin with. I think the very first thing I searched for. Well, firstly, I had this massive anxiety and I was seeking natural ways to help anxiety. I was Googling that kind of stuff because I was in recovery from addiction. And so I'm like, okay, can't take Xanax anymore. What am I going to do? So I found meditation by looking up natural alternatives for anxiety. And that got me into meditation and into this kind of metaphysical world. And then I began having my awakening, started seeing 1111s everywhere. Even when it wasn't that time of day, my phone would just say 1111 for some reason on my phone. And I'm throwing the phone thinking I'm insane. And so I think I was looking up 1111 and what does it mean when you see 1111 repeatedly, and stumbled upon you guys that way.
Oh, wow. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Did you ever figure out why you kept seeing 1111?
I was waking up to my twin flame journey, figuring out who I was.
Oh, she's beautiful.
So that's why it was happening to me. Can you guys tell me about your twin flame journey? So you are twin flames. You talk about this and you have an entire coaching business called Relationship Reinvented that's centered around this twin flame connection. And can you tell my audience what is a twin flame connection? What is that?
It is ability to experience formlessness in a different way. And once you're actually connected at that space, you're aware of what you think is even who you are. Different than relationship. Relationship, you literally choices in relationship that come from either your hurt or your love. But in this connection, you actually understand love in a different way. You experience love in a different way. So I think if I was to be simple about it, this connection is the doorway through the spiritual dimension that we all are entitled to, that we never walk through.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like that's true about mine, that it awakened me to this whole other world where I just got to continue to dive deeper in connection with myself and with other human beings and with the earth and with the universe and with God and it just kept going. And it really had like the smallest amount to do with like being in love with another human being, right?
Yes. And then that's when you finally discover, have you been in love with you?
That's when all that comes out.
That's when all
of your self-worth and your self-love shows up, either in a bad way or in a good way.
Yeah. You decide you don't know what good and bad is. You just know that you've been close to both. So that's why both kept showing up. So I think, you know, when we look at how we came together and we look at what it actually was calling to, there was something that she like said to me that still resonates to me even now. Why do you like you? Or why don't you? I mean, when somebody asks you something like that, you can hear your voice come in, oh, I like me. And then I hear another voice say, no, I don't. And I'm going, wait a minute, who's making that noise? Because you don't really investigate it. It was like a glimpse. But that infected me enough to start investigating, because, of course, the person I'm connected to is an investigator. She was investigating everybody all the time. But she literally should have been.
Probably should have been.
Yeah. She was like,
I'm a why person. I need to know why I'm feeling this way, why I'm acting this way, why you're acting this way. I need to know why.
Yeah. And that set me spiraling, because I'd never.
You know, why don't you like yourself?
Yeah. That kind of makes you start looking for your answers.
How the hell do you expect me to like you?
And you don't realize, if you're not investigating that,
Right.
you don't realize how much you've attracted a whole bunch of things based
Right.
on just choosing
Oh, for sure.
not liking yourself. You want people to like you, you want people to love you, but if you're not liking and loving yourself, how are you receiving?
Right.
So I didn't know how to receive love. I don't think I understood. I heard the word and I understood the word and I'd used the word sparingly, but I'd never experienced it. So the only way you can experience it is figuring out why you're not giving it to yourself.
So when
That's
you
what
guys
this-
are talking about things showing up for you,
Mhm.
and you're referring to that kind of like mirror effect, right?
The mirror is a very interesting thing in this way, because everything that you experience coming in after birth, when everybody used to listen to your heart, you actually just started mirroring why they weren't. And once you start doing that, you actually lose your connection to that child that's inside of you already. And always been there, waiting for you to reconnect. What's in your heart matters. Your ability to connect comes from that child, not from you. If you lose that connection there, you start seeking out identities to make sense of you not being connected to yourself. Found that out the hard way and hurt a lot of people in the process. But I'm happy to say that because of this connection, we're reaching a point where we're healing more people than we've ever thought about hurting or hurt. And we're reaching them in a way that they actually get to sit with how they feel, and we sit with them and we connect. But nobody sits with how you feel. They sit with how you think. So it's an entirely different experience when you sit with feeling. You know, kind of like when you discovered your anxiety, you realized that you weren't sitting what you felt. You were telling yourself a story about it.
Right.
But the girl that wanted your attention, wanted your energy. Oh, there's an energy.
You want to say hi?
Perfect.
No.
Hi.
Hi.
Say hi, Lee and Sherry. This is Lee and this is Sherry.
Hi.
This is Phoenix.
Hi, Phoenix.
Phoenix, you're an
No, that's good. I got that.
Cade. We call him Cade most of the time. His middle name is Cade.
Oh,
Oh, he hit my mouth.
Oh, there it was. He's so cute.
So how did you guys realize that you were twin flames? How did you find that word for yourselves? Like, you guys helped me find that word in that language. How did you guys
As much
open
as
up to that terminology?
as much as I wasn't looking for the word, and I wish that I could lose it as much as I found it, because it reminds me of the word love, and the word love is so it's so dull compared to the feeling.
misused.
And it's very misused, and I don't know. I like to call it a spiritual connection or
I
something.
agree with
But
that.
the same thing, yeah. But it was very typical to a lot of the journeys that you see, where we had both been through a mess, and of all different kinds, and
And you're talking about how it was a mess, and then
and then coming together. You're gonna have to finish that.
coming together, we actually realized that the mess is actually sense and connection to each other.
And what was happening, the breakups to get back together, the breakups to get back together, the breakups, why every time I'm over and done and I can't move on with him any longer, I can't even have him as a thought anymore because it's so messed up. Why is it that I can't stop?
Yeah.
Like, so then I had to put myself into an obsession phase and am I obsessed? Am I obsessed? Is this a thing? Is this a real thing?
Questioning the
Like,
sanity.
Yeah.
So many
Like, am I obsessed with this guy? Because I've been obsessed with people who hasn't. And I've been in love and I've been in lust and I've had all these things, but this guy won't go away physically, emotionally, mentally, anything. And he can be across the earth and I still feel him right in the same room with me.
Right.
Mad, angry, sad, happy, whatever. He's right there. Right there. Mm-hmm. And it goes beyond that. But having those things happening and me being a why person. Why? I started looking things up. I started going there. I started doing the same things that you did and looking for answers. And we found it's almost as if a lot of things are coming full circle for this as well. We found a twin flame couple who were doing things, and we reached out to them, and we got back. You guys aren't twins. Blah blah blah. Don't mess with this. Here we go. I'm going to do some research and I'm going to do some digging and I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to go there. And what I was finding was the research that I was doing in the internal research that I was doing. I was opening up doors and finding answers to the things that I was needing the answers to in myself, trying to find what the connection was. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why does this guy do this? And it's okay, but these guys can't. Right? So many things. So I stumbled upon and he was at work and I threw him an article and I said, what do you think about this? How does this resonate with you when you read it? And he got back to me and he said, spot on. And since that day, I went back to look for that article and I've not been able to find it.
The beautiful part about that article, though, is it wasn't descriptive in a way that look forward to separation, look forward to pain. It actually was more of somebody actually had written it where it just went into your heart and said that your head is going to disconnect you as much as possible because of this connection.
Yeah.
And that kind of gave us a good place to start. So we just kind of stopped looking out there for answers after that.
Yeah.
I think when we look at the word twin flame, it's much like Lee and Sherry. It's just the name.
Right.
But it doesn't represent what's inside that's connected to each other. So we kind of said, okay, we get it. And we just kind of stayed out of mainstream. We stayed out of that space. But we decided that, you know what? If they don't find vulnerability, they're never going to find the ability to connect. So we decided that it was a good idea to kind of look at this. I remember we were laying in bed. It was 2011. We had created Relationship Reinvented. And I said, and she said, oh, yeah, we could do this. And we were in there talking to a group of people. And they're like, who are you guys? Because we kept coming from, why don't you come from your vulnerability? Because we couldn't see it then as much as we see it now. Can you love without your vulnerability?
No.
And see, that's why people choose things that are probably outside of them to make sense with them not choosing their vulnerability. So we decided we needed to reach a point where we just needed to go. Most beautiful thing, you wouldn't think a breakup or a separation or an end of a relationship would give you freedom. It gave us freedom. Because as soon as we went off with separate people, we started really being able to see that we weren't connected to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
and that we were connected to ourselves with these people, and they didn't get any of the energy we were coming from.
They didn't even know.
But they were swallowed by it. They thought, oh my God, I've never had a love like this. What is this? And oh, I'll marry you. I'll buy you. I don't care if you're connected to somebody else. Was the speech. And we went,
Right.
wait a minute. You're not connected to yourself. You're going to connect to me. Then I'm going to have to disconnect from myself. So you have to choose. Because we're all here connected. We're all an extension of something. But why aren't we choosing connection? Why don't we connect to each other? We have something that literally everybody who comes here and visits us, they don't know what time it is. Because the connection is constant. When we're connected, we can't tell you what time it is in our own home. We don't look for it because we're connected. And I can go into a separate room. She can be in there, but we're connected. I can leave and come back, but we're connected. So at what point do you settle in and accept connection will be found in there? But what took you away from that to begin with is what happened to you as a child.
Right.
That's what we didn't get. So when Sherry and I came back together, we birthed Relationship Reinvented because I lost my job. It was like the universe forced this big, huge funnel of us coming back together. And everything that we thought we had a hold on disappeared.
Yeah.
Disappeared. And it needed to. It really needed to.
The universe had a mission for us, and we were doing it, damn it.
Yeah.
And we didn't want
No. But I would tell you the most beautiful part of it was as soon as we did finally come back together, our inner children were allowed to be out there and be vulnerable and share and not really look for an identity anymore because we knew we didn't need to seek something that didn't need to be defined. This experience is the only experience you're going to have in this experience. And it's only happening right now. We couldn't find that in each other because we had too much time and love in the present. We figured that out. And once we actually realized we could sit and watch people heal by sitting with what they feel, we realized that something magical was happening. Something that this planet should have had and still has. We're going to stand in it until everybody finds it. You don't get to feel much because your head is making too much noise.
Yeah.
And every single time you go to your head to explain a feeling, you don't consider that abandonment, but that's the human way. It's not the being way, it's the human way. It's not until you find being that this connection finds you. And people have glimpses of that all the time. So when we actually had a glimpse of it, we were like, what the hell is, I mean, it was like the rain moved slow and then everything was alive. And it was like, we were just a part of all of it. And all of it was a part of us. And it was an extension of our connection. And we get to stay in that. I mean, I don't think we ever find a way to be in our heads like that as much.
Right.
Except for you've been going through an illness, which we actually are seeing the impacts of the tragedy of how we're not connecting to heal. Because that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You heal
So
through connection, not without it.
So I know a lot of people have asked me, like, when I talk about a connection like this, a spiritual connection like this, they go, I want that. Like, how do I get that? And what would be your advice for people? Like,
They have that. It's just this is making too much noise.
Gotcha. So are your services for people?
For sure. We have a program called Root Camp, but and it's very important. But the most important thing is, and I man, people are hearing it over and over again, and it's hard to, it's easy to hear, but it's hard to put into play. And you know, even after reading your book, even it's funny how things go full circle, because you said that, you know, we had made a change in your life, and I had been struggling with finding a bathing suit, and I'm losing weight because I'm sick, and I'm struggling with these issues and finding a bathing suit. And I was looking earlier, and in the season, I was like, anyway, after you read your book, I decided that I'm getting a tankini this year. Okay, and it's risky, but I'm doing it, and it's because of you that I'm doing it. So I just want you to know that. I'll get a picture for you. And
hashtag it how to wear a crown.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, I will. But the most important thing I really want everybody to know is it really starts with you. And you've got to find that crown. You got to find that how to wear that crown. You got to find that self-love. You got to find that non-judgment. You got to find that tankini mind, right? You got to find it. You got to find that. You got to find what you want in another person in yourself first.
Yeah.
That's the key. And then root camp can get you there. Root camp can get you there. Because what we do is we go deep. We go deep. And there's a lot of crying, and there's a lot of purging, and it's ugly crying, and it's
best kind though.
Big purging, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And that's what we do. That's what we do. We help you find that love in yourself and why you don't have it and what you've done with it and why.
Yeah.
Right? And then the person comes in. It's almost as if the universe has given us a gift, right? Because it never fails. I don't think it's ever failed. When we talk to somebody either enters their life or their twin comes back into their life. Yes. And the reason that is, it's not because of anything Lee and Sherry's doing. It's because of everything you're doing. We're just asking the right questions. We're just showing you where to go. We're just showing you how the work is done and what you need to do. You do the work.
Right.
Your work.
Your own answers will connect you to the person you're connected to, but you don't seek those answers out because you don't seek to find yourself. So what happens is you can actually find this connection when you start looking deep into the connection you have to yourself. Without that, you're just asking somebody to connect to your disconnect. Don't do that.
No.
That would be my advice to them if they're looking for this connection. This connection is profound in that way. It's only going to give you what you're getting yourself. Most of the time, what ends up happening is that disconnect is what most people find. And then when they find the person they're connected to, they'll disconnect from them the way they disconnect from themselves. It's just a replay. And they have to do this until you realize that you keep disconnecting from you, not them. Yeah. You give responsibility away where you shouldn't. We learn this as children. We never go back and recollect our ability to go back inside and stay connected in that space. So if somebody's looking for this connection, we would tell them, you already have it. You just haven't gone into the connection into yourself to find it. Nobody told you that you could. So you never made it a choice for yourself.
So I would love to talk twin flame spiritual connection with you guys for like the next 5 hours. But I've got to give you guys a few minutes before we wrap it up to tell everybody where to find you. If they want to do root camp or any of your other services. I know that's just one of few things that you guys have to offer. So where can they find you?
We do. You can find us on YouTube with Lee.
Type in Lee and Sherry.
Lee and Sherry. You can go to Google and type in Lee and Sherry. You're going to find us.
You'll find us by Lee and Sherry in Google.
RelationshipReinvented.com. That's our website, RelationshipReinvented.com. Root camp information's on there. We also do a certification program. So if you're interested in becoming a coach, doing what we do, believe me, if you're not in union, that's good at this point. Okay? Don't think you got to be in union to coach, or you have to be in perfect condition, because that's not but that's what we do. And we sit behind the desk all day and we talk to twins all day and bring them right back to themselves.
Yes. And we do a lot of other things as
A
well.
lot.
If you're just spiritual and you want to really see deeper inside of yourself, we're here. I mean, the beautiful thing about having a spiritual dimension inside of each and every human being is that there's always a gateway. You just got to look for it. And if you can't find it, don't worry. Sherry and I and our team of coaches know how to ask you questions to open up that door. We've been doing this for a year, and that's not even a level of time. It's really about how long we've been really truly connected to ourselves. I mean, this year I think we're both sitting right around 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah.
So it feels good to still be a child and still revert back to 5 and 3-year-old me all the time, because I know how to speak from that space where people can understand. If you're really looking for us, Patreon, you can find us on Facebook. We have a support group for
Twin Flames.
Twin Flames. Community is under Relationship Reinvented group.
Twin Flames support group by Relationship Reinvented.
Yes.
On Facebook.
Mhm.
Instagram, Relationship Reinvented, Twitter, our Reinvent. Info at relationshipreinvented.com if you want a free 30-minute session.
Yeah, if you just want to do 30 minutes, we're offering that for free.
Yep.
For any of your listeners, if they just want to really kind of deep dive real fast, it takes us less than 5 minutes to get you deep inside.
Beautiful. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much. And I'll make sure that I list all your steps.
On,
Yes.
and thank you so much for the book.
Yes.
You are so welcome. Thank you so
sending
much
it
for
back.
reading it.
And actually, when we meet, I'll have you sign it.
Yes. When, not if.
That's right. When we meet, I'll have you sign it.
Awesome.
Well, I'm so glad to see that you're feeling better, Sherry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. This has been so great.
Our entire journey's on Facebook, too, by the way. Our Twin Flame journey from the start to now. So you can actually see us sitting and talking about how we met, what we went through, and all that stuff. On YouTube and our playlist, it's called Our Journey. You can go there and learn all about our story.
If you're really looking to understand what vulnerability looks like in connection, that would be the place to look.
Great stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm so very, very grateful for your time today and all your energy to do this. I'm overwhelmed with joy. I cannot wait to get it up. So I'm going to get going to work.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, and send us links. Send
Yes.
us links and we'll put it out as well.
Yes.
I will. I'll send you everything.
Yes.
I'm going to do it on YouTube and on the podcast, I think. So.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.